Let's say when.
When.
When. There she goes. Katie the when girl. Gotta be a little smart, Alex. That's Katie.
She loves me and she's going to keep
I
me always.
do. I love you.
So I'm solo because Miss Diane is icky right now.
Yes. I have a cold. I don't feel like putting makeup on.
We live in Buffalo.
Yeah.
So
And I don't know if it's sinuses. It's kind of like sinuses, laryngitis. I have my sexy voice, my Lauren Bacall if you're older, or Kathleen Turner if you're maybe a millennium. I don't know.
I always love Kathleen Turner.
Yeah, I don't know who's got the deep voice amongst the newer ones.
I love Lauren Bacall
The
too.
sultry, right? So that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's great about me right now.
Okay, so we're starting a little series where we have a jar up in Flickr, and we're asking people if they had one question for the universe, what would it be?
Yeah, we're actually getting like quite a few.
Yeah, people are actually filling the jar up.
People have questions.
So we're gonna kick this off. We have a couple questions that Diane's gonna read.
Yeah. So we kind of read through them. We're not just picking them randomly.
No, but I thought that this was a good place to start.
We're curious, so it's not like we're not. It's not like a contest where we just got to pick one blind. We did look through them, and what we noticed this time is that we have two similar questions coming from opposite directions.
Yeah.
So.
And I thought it was a good place to start because this is where a lot of subconscious blockages happen with the people closest to us.
Yeah, and the like when we do cord cutting, the strongest cords, the strongest attachments we have are the people that we are physically related to, the ones that we share family ties with, whether for whatever reason, whether we're home or not, they have the strongest hold on us.
Well, and a lot of people think that like doing a cord cutting means you cut them out of your life, and that's not the case. The case is cutting whatever negativity or whatever part of the cord that you have towards that person, or if you need a fresh start. That's what that is, right?
I always visualize it like I always tell people like spider webs or ropes, or say like being tied up and all these ropes are pulling you, or say they're balancing you, and you have certain ones that pull harder than others, and those are the ones that you need to address, the ones that keep you off balance.
Yeah.
So those ties, those connections, energetic connections, they're the ones that you need to take a look at and either set boundaries, do a cord cutting, or
something
to help yourself.
And it's okay to do that, and you're not going to lose that person in your life if you don't want to lose them in your life. And it doesn't mean, I think a lot of people just think they're so quick to cut people out of their lives nowadays, and instead of working on the relationship.
Yeah.
And I think cord cutting is a good way to work on the relationship because you're acknowledging what doesn't work and trying to create space for what does work.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I know I'm at an awkward angle. We also couldn't find half of our filming equipment today, so please excuse.
Yeah.
I'm all fidgety because I'm solo on camera.
I refuse. I have no makeup on, which is not bad. I mean, I'm not hideous or anything, but at least I don't think so. I'm kind of washed out, not feeling well, so I don't want y'all to see me this way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read the questions.
Okay.
First one we have here. Will my mom ever accept me and love me? And here comes Dad, so we're going to have some barking. And the other half of this question, okay, I'm going to talk really quick. The other half of this question is coming from the other side. Will my daughter and I find peace in each other? Double question marks. They said these double questions. The double question marks is like, we ever find peace in each other? And again, to me, it's coming from opposite directions. I don't know if they're related or not related, but I don't think it really matters. It's just two sides of the same coin. being accepted and loved for who you are, and finding peace.
Yeah. And it's
with
not
each other.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, I mean,
That could
so
go for any kind of relationships, loving relationships.
the people that can hurt us the most are the ones that are closest to us.
Right.
Those are the ones we feel the most, and we're the most attached to. And like I said, it can affect our subconscious the most. And those are the ones that we usually have to self-regulate with.
Yes.
The most, right? Because
yeah.
we internalize
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Oh yeah. We try to, sometimes you try to keep the peace, and you let things build up inside, and it becomes like a boiling pot. If you keep the lid on it, say like a pressure cooker, if you keep the lid on it, eventually that steam's going to build up enough. And
we're in the middle of the store.
Oopsies. And yeah, you keep that lid on the pot, and it's just going to blow off. And that hot water, that hot steam is going to go everywhere and hurt people. And you don't want that to happen, because words hurt.
It's also like, because you're so close.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's hard to see the relationship clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have 3 daughters, and I have had to remind myself, because 2 of them are in their 20s, and circumstances, whatever, it is what it is, but nobody's perfect, so I would never claim to be a perfect parent. But with the relationships as they're growing and they're evolving, I'm constantly being reminded by people that love me, and also that by myself, that they have to grow and they have to evolve in their own space and time, and they have to go through whatever life lessons that they need to learn. And sometimes we want to protect our children. We don't want to see them struggle. We don't want to see them go through those life lessons. And sometimes we can get a little overly, I know with me, that's one of my biggest things. I get overly opinionated. I get overly, like if I live in fear for my children, I get almost aggressive as a parent, which isn't necessarily healthy. And it's something that I've had to work on. And I think for a child to feel like her mom doesn't love or accept her, she is going to have to struggle with accepting herself and loving herself enough to fill that hole. And I know anytime I do readings with my clients that struggle with self-acceptance, if you don't feel loved by somebody, or you don't feel validated, you have to learn to validate yourself. So yeah, does that make sense though?
Oh, it totally makes sense. And it's, kids, I'm assuming that's a kid just by the writing. It might not be a child. It's a younger person. But people have enough trouble feeling accepted as it is. Everybody wants to fit in. We're all looking for where you fit in this world. And I watch people. I'm a big people watcher, and something that spans all cultures and all social classes is recognition. And I see someone walk into a crowd of strangers, and Mike can attest to this because I see it all the time, and I love the change in expression.
Mm-hmm.
When someone walks into a crowd of strangers, you could see a little bit of a lost look on their face if you really observe. And, not that they are lost, but it's just they're alone walking through strangers. And then all of a sudden, you see their face light up. They smile, their eyes get bigger, their whole demeanor changes because they just saw someone they recognized and like. And I watch it all the time. I was watching on the football field. And it's crazy. like I said, every social class, every single culture there is has the same reaction. And it's very fascinating. So, now you take that and you make it about acceptance. And it's the same thing. You walk into a crowd of people, and you have a bunch that accept you for who you are, and then you have the ones who really don't know you all the way yet because you don't know yourself. And you're going to be drawn to the people who accept you as you are. So maybe you have some flaws, obvious flaws. And the people that accept you acknowledge that and they're okay with those flaws. So those are the people that you want to be with.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the other people on the other side who have different expectations, maybe, or they don't understand where you're coming from. And that works both ways, kids and parents. Now, parents as adults, we're expected to know better, to be more wise. It's not always true because we do have expectations.
Well, and we're human.
And we're human. We change your diapers,
Mm-hmm.
We still see, I can only speak for myself, but we still see that little kid. And I'm make another football reference because I love football. Don't fault me for that. I always see the kids on the field. Like when my son played Little Loop, he's a grown up, he's an adult, he's a boss where he works. And I still see the little kid and what he went through to build himself to get there. And the recognition and the losses and the tears
Mm-hmm.
and the hard work and everything they had to do to get where they are. So, I look at those football players on the field and I still see little kids, and like they get stupid, they get mad, they get, whatever they get, and they get happy. But the recognition is huge. So, and that works for parents too. So, kids have to grow up, kids have to mature a little bit to really understand. As a parent, we look back, we made, like you said, Katie, we made those mistakes. I don't want you to make that too. We don't say that. That's what we're thinking. Like, I know where this is headed. It's not looking good. I've been down that road. I'm going to try to save you. That's what parents are thinking. Kids are like, you're stealing our freedom. You're telling us what to do. You don't know me. You don't know, my friends. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my life. And while that's true, somewhat, kids don't understand that you've already grown up and you have been through a lot of those things.
They also don't see it. They don't have the life experience to see,
Right.
to be able to see it from our perspective. And that's one of the things I always have to remind myself. I grew up totally different from my girls.
Mm-hmm.
My girls did not even come close to having the same childhood
Right.
that I had.
Right.
And
which is a good thing.
But at the same time,
in a way, right.
At the same time, my perspective at their age was totally different from their perspective at their age.
Right. True.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
So
totally.
sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I don't understand.
Uh-huh.
And then I get frustrated, and that as a parent for me is like, that's where I have to rein in and go, okay, that's wrong on my part, and there's always that miscommunication because again, you're so close that sometimes you just don't communicate the way you could. I could look at somebody else and give them advice like I am in this video and go, okay, here's my flaws, here's where maybe we need to change perspective. But when you're in it and you're feeling it and you're so wrapped up,
you're close to it. You're too close to it.
Yeah. It's much harder. So I think what it comes down to is giving grace.
Yeah.
Like you have to give grace and have faith and tap into the moments where you're at your best, where you excel, where you feel the most love. Like when my daughters and I feel separate from my daughters, I tap into moments in time where we were so wrapped up in each other and just loved up, and that feeling and feeling that versus feeling animosity or anger or anxiety or fear.
Right. And yeah, I think a big part of it too is just acknowledging the difference there. like you said, you grew up different than they. A lot of us, if you grew up in hardship, a lot of parents, go strong one way or the other. But I think most parents want more for their kids than what they had.
Mm-hmm.
So we do more for them. That we don't understand why they're intolerant little brats. In our head, that's what we're thinking. It's just putting it out there. We don't get it. And we got to take a step back and be like, what you give them has nothing to do with what they're learning.
Right.
You know?
Well, and the other thing is when you're like, I think about my mom and I. Okay, my mom will tell people I don't know where she came from. She was switched at the hospital. And she says it. You've heard her say it.
Oh,
she
yeah.
says it like it's nothing for her to say that. Like I don't know where she came from. Sometimes you have to accept the relationship that you have with somebody and grieve the relationship you wish you had with somebody.
Right, that's huge.
My mom just yelled at me for not hugging her, which is huge. Which I didn't give her a hug. I should have given her a hug. But she hugged my daughter and she goes, well, I got a hug out of you. I didn't get a hug out of your mom. But we don't hug. And she went into this whole thing. And you could, instead of me registering that because I'm so caught up in what's normal to us, I'm now sitting here going, oh, I should have given my mom a hug because that was her acknowledging we don't hug, but I wish we did.
Okay. Well, by her saying that.
And I didn't hear it.
So if you don't hug, okay.
And this just happened like an hour ago. Like I literally didn't hear it.
Okay, so I hear something totally different from you right now. To me, that's like a little bit of passive aggressiveness because if you don't normally hug, why would she expect it?
Yeah. Well.
And then to put that out there like, well, I didn't get a hug from you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's kind of not fair. I think that's not fair. And now you're feeling guilty for not hugging your mom.
Well, because
you're feeling guilty for not doing something that you normally don't do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, that's BS. I'm sorry, Katie's mom, but it's kind of the way I feel about it. Is like, why throw something up in somebody's face if it's not something you do?
Yeah, but that was out of character for her to even
really
acknowledge
was it?
Or well,
about a hug.
About a hug. Yeah, because my mom isn't. I mean, ever since I was a kid, there's no hugs.
So let's get to communication issues then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, communication issues.
But I grieved. Yeah. I grieved the relationship I wish I had with my mom. I grieved it, and I accept my mom for who she is, and I hope my girls can do the same thing.
Right.
And that I can do the same thing with them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't always get the exact relationship you want in real time with the people you want it. Sometimes you just have to look at them and give them grace for the moments in time that they're in and go, okay, this is where our relationship is at right now.
Yeah. And you also have to speak. You have to communicate. You have to speak. If something, your mom did say something, but I guess I call it counselor speak. If she didn't say it the right way, she could have said, Katie, let's try a hug. I would really like a hug from you.
I guess I just didn't hear because I'm so used to how it is that I'm thinking about it now because these
but
questions
she didn't
have
say
me
it that
thinking
way.
About it that
she said it as a shot.
Well, yeah, she's like, we don't hug.
You
know, but we don't hug.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think too you have to allow room for growth and for things to evolve out and not to always get caught up in how it's been. And I think that's what I was trying to acknowledge just now. And be open instead of just always thinking, well, this is how they are, therefore it's always going to be this way, which is where my brain goes to sometimes. Like that's my toxic trait is, okay, more of the same. Here we go.
Here we go again.
Yeah. And so I think, yeah, you have to stay open and allow things to evolve and grow.
Yeah, it is hard to not jump to those conclusions. Yeah. It's kind of like the boy who cries wolf for catching somebody lying. It's like then you expect a lie every time.
Yeah.
And that's not really the way it is.
Yeah, it's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy at all. So, keep your ears open. But again, if your mom wanted that hug, she could have said, I would like a hug. Or it's really hard to do for us to speak how we truly feel.
It's scary.
It's very
Because
scary.
you're
And
becoming vulnerable and you're putting yourself out
right.
there.
And it's easy to be sarcastic. Little sidebar. I did have therapy when I really needed it. I was in a really low point in my life. And just all family situations was very low. And the doctor, my psychologist, said to me, after about like 6 weeks of going to see him and, like twice a week and all this talking shit, and he really didn't give me many tools. And I asked him about it. I'm like, so, are you going to give me something like to take home to work on? And he looked at me and very seriously, he says, well, he goes, something I noticed, he says, is you're sarcastic. He said, and sarcasm is a form of anger. And okay, I was
Oof.
already at this point.
I'm
You know what I said to him? I said, no shit.
I'm super
Okay.
sarcastic.
Yes. So I gave him that sarcastic response, and I actually stopped seeing him. I think actually that was like after 3 months. I'm like, this guy's not helping me. But what I did learn from that though is sarcasm is a shot. It's a little bit of anger coming out. It's a little bit of defensiveness. It comes out in a sarcastic way. You could be sarcastically funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Quick-witted. But when sarcasm is funny in its own right. Okay, they make TV shows about it. But when you are trying to repair a damaged relationship, it's not always advisable to be sarcastic.
Right.
It's a little better to really open yourself up, peel back those layers, make yourself a little vulnerable, and actually say, I would like to work on this to make it better. In this case, will my mom ever accept me and love me? Well, I'd like to hope it happens eventually, but the realistic thing is she may not. And you have to be okay with yourself. Like you said, Katie.
Yeah, you have to accept.
At some point, you have to be okay with who you are and acknowledge that your mom is an independent person, independent of you. Because she gave birth to you does not mean you two are like clones of each other to understand each other.
Well, and sometimes it's a good thing. Like I wasn't built to be like my mom. And that's not taking a shot at my mom at all. I love my mom very much, and I admire what she has brought to this world, because she really truly does love humanity, and has done a bunch of work to help people, and she's fabulous, and that's the word that I would use to describe her the most. Mm-hmm. She's fabulous, but I'm not like her, and I accept that I'm not built to be like her.
You just tweak all her chords.
And but that's something I had to work on, because both my parents, I'm not like. I'm just not. Mm-hmm. And but I had to work on being okay with me. Mm-hmm. And I had to work on being okay with the criticism that came my way with being me.
Right.
And sometimes one of my cycles that I had was, I married somebody that was very much like my mom, because that's what I had normalized. Mm-hmm. And then my children took on the same patterns, because that's again what I accepted in my life. And it took me until my divorce to say, no, I'm not accepting this anymore. And even with my own children, putting my foot down, mm-hmm. With some of the things that went on. And it's not easy. It's not easy as a parent, going back to will my daughter and I ever find peace? It's not easy doing that as a parent, because you want nothing more than to have, well, I'm a Taurus. I'm built for family dinners and game nights. And even here at Flickr, I want a game night, mm-hmm. and I do family dinners with them, and yep. I'm built for that. That's all. I crave that. I want my kids in my house, and I want to cook for them, and I want, these things. And I'm not the best cook, but I want to cook. Yeah,
pizza, man,
and bake and do things. And sometimes, life, it just throws you that curveball. So yeah. You have to grieve in the moment. Right now is not the time for family dinners. Maybe 5 years from now will be the time for family dinners, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. and then you have to let things evolve and grow out, and you have to evolve and grow out with it.
Right.
You know,
We got to give our kids breathing room,
and also,
which is really hard.
again, maybe cut the cord with some of the toxicity, and then create growth and room for new things to be brought in, so that you can attain what you want to attain.
Yeah.
You know,
And you know, acceptance and love. I'm pretty sure mom. I'm assuming this is a girl.
she just
I don't
might
know.
not be able to show you the way that you want to be shown love. Your love languages might be different. My mom's love language is totally different from mine. My mom loves me, and doesn't understand how she sounds to people, like when she talks about me. But that's something, again, I had to accept.
And you know what, too, I just noticed about looking at this. The difference is the young person feels that the love is related to acceptance.
That's true, and it's two different things.
Yeah, it's two different things. Will my mom ever accept me and love me? And the other person wrote, will my daughter and I find peace in each other? There's nothing that says about love. The mom, there's no question parents love their children. It's just right, like not in the way that you want it to be, maybe.
Yeah. Listen, my daughter and I didn't talk for the better part of the last year, and something horrific happened. We lost a pet, and she called me and she said, "I love you," and that is a given. It is like, she can be mad at me, she can not want to talk to me, she can demonize me, and you know, whatever she needs to get through in this moment in time, she can do all of that because I'm her parent. So
yeah, right.
But at the end of the day, she knows, I hope to God, she knows I love her, you know.
Yeah.
And she called me out of the blue, and I picked up the phone on the first ring. And before she got off that phone, she said, "I love you." And you know, and she didn't have to call me. Our pet was in her house. She didn't have to call me. She didn't have to reach out. She didn't have to.
So that was cool.
She put Steve's paw prints into clay for me. She didn't have to do any of that. But that's love. That is, you know, that's love. And so
somebody might also have the kind of love that maybe your parents love you, but you know, they can't stand to be around you. I mean, that's just realistic. Maybe they don't like your friends. Maybe they don't like your behavior. Maybe you like to party and they like to read books, so they don't understand that you like to go out and stay out late. Maybe you like to read books and they like to party and they just don't get you at all. You know, but there's obviously a difference in personalities there. Even sometimes when you're too much alike.
So back to the staying,
it can happen.
Back to the staying open thing too. I call my mom and she gets so annoyed. So I actually give her breaks from calling her. I try to call her at least 3 to 4 times a week in the morning. And I will give her days where I don't call her and talk to her. And I was sick for a couple weeks, so I went out of routine and I didn't talk to her because I was sick. And last week I talked to her. I had actually FaceTimed her and everything. And the next night I got a missed call from her, and I thought something was wrong because she's calling me. And
right.
I'm like, oh my gosh. And she goes, "No, I just wanted to call and see how you were doing." And
that's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
again,
it's
out of routine, but sometimes you have to be open to things evolving and changing. Mom's
like, not what does she want now, or
right? Yeah, because mom's not she's and when she wants to get off the phone, she wants to get off the phone, and she's, you know. But that's, again, I accept that because I've learned to accept that. I don't expect for her to go out of her comfort zone.
But these people here, now this one's talking about her daughter. Will my daughter and I ever find peace in each other? And I guess that's like taking a step back, see where the problems are. You know, I don't know if you're looking for like a psychic response to this, but any psychic medium can tell you it depends on the path you take.
Well, you have the power to draw peace.
Right. Again, I can address this one. Will my mom ever accept me and love me? I'm going to say, obviously loves you. Remember that when you need to talk. Remember that when something comes up that maybe you feel you did wrong, or maybe you feel guilty about, or maybe you have shame about. Always remember, before you talk to your parent, they love you.
Well, and also know that sometimes the reaction is because of that love. Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
always react the way
Right.
I wish I could. I wish
Oh yeah.
I wasn't
We're
harsh
people.
sometimes
Mm-hmm.
with my. I tend to with the people,
I
you know,
tend to be a little harsh.
harsher with the people I love the most, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to actually. That's something I'm actually trying to fundamentally change about
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Me too.
Because in real time, my brain goes to just, oh my gosh, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm
Like,
not good with the 24
why?
hour rule.
I found
Processing time for
process
me.
time. Exactly.
Yeah.
I am like, if I react to things right away, I tend to sound very mean.
Yes.
Like, I understand what I'm saying in my head, but the words don't sound that way
And Diane's
from the
diplomatic.
other ears.
She's very diplomatic. She moms me sometimes,
Yeah.
and she's very diplomatic.
So my niece did tell me once, she says, she told me, I don't know, we were talking about something. She goes, well, what did you do? I said, well, I had a talk with them. And she was like, oh my God. She said, a talk from you, Aunt Di, is worse than going to jail. And I was like, I was like, oh gosh. That made me step back and think. And she wasn't being sarcastic. She was like legit. And I was like, because I tend to lecture and I tend to kind of be like, yeah, diplomatic lawyer. Like, you don't stand a chance. If I was in debate club, man, you're just going down.
But the other
and there's no love in that, so.
But the other thing with you though, like, yes, you do, but it is coming from a place of love.
It
is coming from a place of, because there's times that she's absolutely not agreed with me on things and in my own life, and I take it home and I process it, and
Right.
I don't, but I like that. I also think, like, nowadays everybody, we have to be able to self-regulate in real time, and I think that's part of where I go wrong with my own children, because I don't know if it's a fear state of where they're heading and wanting them to just be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But with you, like, I like being parented. I'm in my 40s, and I don't think people should stop being parented. I think I'm going to be 80 and still need somebody to go, Katie.
Hopefully I'm still here.
Yes. And I think, like, I really don't
I'll be like 95 years old.
I don't think we should stop being parented. I like being parented. I like being told. I go for advice. Maisie needs to be picked up. That's what you just heard.
Maisie yep. She's hitting me. She's like body slamming into my legs. But yeah, so
cute.
Yeah. So like you're a child and a parent.
But I still need to be parented.
And you still need to be parented.
I'm still learning, and I'm still evolving, and I'm still growing, and I think that that's the grace part.
And you're an adult. And parents have to acknowledge, parents also, depending on how old they are, parents have to acknowledge that kids are going to grow up and become their own person. And maybe their viewpoints don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be okay with that. Like, yes, you love. Number one, knowing that your parent loves you or knowing that your child loves you is huge, because that does take a lot of the fear away. And knowing you can't lose that person.
And trying to understand the perspective. So my mom and I feel very different about some things, and but again, she wasn't raised like me. Mm-hmm. She had a completely different upbringing. She didn't experience some of the things that I experienced, so her perception is different.
Right.
And
my kids too.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's, I think that's.
Sit down with your child. Sit down with your parent. Have an open discussion on what your childhood was like.
Be open for things to change. Don't think that they're always going to stay the same.
My daughter said something to me when you say, different upbringings. I grew up the big family. I knew, we all knew we loved each other. There was no hitting. There was no name calling. Friend, brother, sister wrestling, brothers wrestling. Little tiffs like that. Fighting. I remember fighting over a chair. My sister, my brother fighting over a chair. Shove each other out and stuff. But there was.
Hang on, my phone's going.
Okay.
Sorry.
There was always love. So you could fight, and then, 10 minutes later, you'd be laughing together.
Yeah.
But, my parents, they loved me. They had a relationship with each other. Their relationship with each other wasn't loving, but it wasn't nasty either. It just was. But I felt loved by everybody. My daughter, on the other hand, told me a different story. Her growing up in our household, like she knew I loved her. She was scared to death of losing me because I had an abusive husband. Her father had a very bad temper, and he could be very volatile. And she let me know something. She says, Mom, she goes, when I went to school, she goes, I never knew if you were going to be alive when I got home.
That's scary.
And let me tell you, at her young age, like she never told me that. So she's in her 30s now, and it took her all that time to be able to say that to me.
Yeah, she lived in fear.
And I'm like, oh my God, had I known that when she was young, it would have been a completely different story, because in my mind, I could handle this. I was not afraid. I'm like a badass, okay? Like, you do something to me, you better run, because I'm gonna do it 10 times back to you. And I bide my time. And with him, I was biding my time. And I'm like, I'm all right. But that was her perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times that's where the hitches come up. Completely different perspectives of the same relationship.
Yeah. Well, and then those perspectives will change with time too.
Yeah.
Because even as she grows up, maybe she'll come to some form of peace about what had happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will allow her to look more into the situation for what it was and look from your perspective.
Yeah.
It took me a while to look from my mom's perspective, from my dad's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a long time to get to that place.
Yeah.
And then once I started to understand them better. And
Yeah.
it's the same with my kids.
And you know what? It's like, if everybody could just lay off their expectations, lay off getting defensive.
Expectations will kill you.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Expectations and defensiveness. If you could go into a situation knowing that you are loved, I will tell you, an eye roll goes really far.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just take a situation and, whether it's the same old, like you said, oh, here we go again, this is going to happen again. So it's kind of like we assume things. And if that does come up, if there's something that the other person does that you really, really, really don't like, man, take a step back, give it an eye roll. Don't let them see you. Well, but, yeah, that's kind of like an inside eye roll. Also, like, oh, here we go.
Also understand that that's kind of more on them. I had a situation last year where I've done all this work with my mom, and I've tried my best to make sure that we have a good relationship moving forward. And we were just talking about it at Christmas. We have this family recipe that's been handed down from mother to daughter. And my sister-in-law that was married to my cousin, she's not really my sister-in-law, but she was married to my cousin. She has it. My other sister-in-law who's married to my other cousin has it. I still didn't have it as of last year. So mom pulls out these tins with all the cookie cutters and the recipe out, and she hands it to my daughters. Mike. She hands it to my daughters, and she doesn't have one for me. So she bypassed me and gave it to my girls. And I literally left the house. Mm-hmm. I couldn't. I went into my
It's okay, keep talking.
I went into my daughter's room.
It's probably loud in
there. And I tried to cry it out, and I just couldn't compose myself, and I ended up leaving the house. And my mom's reasoning is her own. I don't agree with her reasoning, and that's fine. And I had to work through it in real time and move on from it and just accept that how it is.
You did have a conversation with your mom about it, though.
I did. I had to
You
reach
did
out.
have a
She was actually
conversation.
she was very mad at me for leaving, so I had to get back into her good graces
Yeah,
just to be able to have that conversation. But
right. And you did,
and I did,
It worked out.
and we did talk about
But
it.
that was a really tragic thing for you.
Yeah, that
was
really
a really
affected me,
bad
but she's
trigger,
never going
yeah.
to understand how much it affected me. She's not going to understand why it affected me the way it did. She doesn't understand my perspective on it, and so I have to accept that part of it and just, understand that people look for closure, and you're not going to always get the closure that you're looking for, and that's that expectation thing. Sometimes you just kind of got to accept that she's not going to get it, and that's
Right.
okay.
Yep.
It's okay that she doesn't get it. She doesn't have to get it. She doesn't have to self-regulate me. She doesn't have to do exactly what I want her to do.
Is it closing time?
And that's
I think
okay.
it's closing time.
It is. So
with that, we're going to wrap it up. That's our opinions on that. And you know what they say about opinions.
I hope we helped. I know we were in the store and it was a little chaotic while we were doing this.
Yeah, if you could take a little bit of something from it, at least, another perspective on things.
Yep, and I'm going to post this tonight, so we'll have it
leave
up
us your comments.
Station or
follow us if you will. If you came across this, please give us a follow. We need followers. And we need subscribers.
Comment too.
Yeah.
If you're the ones that gave us this, comment.
Yeah.
If there's something else that you wish we would have gone into on this questions, please let us know.
Yep.
But yeah, okay. We appreciate you and we love you.
Thanks for listening. You stayed this whole time.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you very, very much. Have a good one.